pressing up. Yeah, my heart turned purple when you left me. Yeah, my heart turned purple when you painted me. Do you believe in me, even though you envy me?
Welcome back, YouTube family. For those who don't know, I am that man, Lowe's. Alright, this is part 2 of Scary Horror Homeless Stories, alright? This is part 2. So make sure you hit the subscribe button real quick, turn on notifications, give this video a thumbs up. And also, don't forget to leave a comment on what you think about this scary horror story, alright? Let's go ahead and get into it. Part 2. Let's go. True Homeless Horror Story 2. Alright, let's go.
I've lived a long enough life to have heard and seen a lot of unusual things. Of course, having spent many of my years in it, in the state of Florida, I've seen firsthand on several occasions why the infamous Florida man is always making headlines across the country. Heck, I could have been one of those Florida men back in the day. But I can tell you without a doubt that no matter how steeled you think you've become against the surprises life throws at you, you're never invincible.
Oh, that's a train.
Life always holds the power to shock you to your core.
Now, that train was fast.
Take me, for example. I spent my years in the military, and I've spent my years on the streets, drifting between one rock and another hard place. But no matter what messed up stuff I have to see go down or deal with, I always bounce back. Well, almost always. Out of everything I've seen, only one thing made me lose my cool. And I think it was just the sheer unexpectedness of it. Just that I didn't think anything like it could ever happen in broad daylight in the middle of the city.
Oh, wow.
There's no denying that this happened. Everyone knows about it these days. It was a nice sunny day in Miami. I was making my way across town down the concrete mess of a highway, just to get out of that part of town I'd been in for the last few weeks. I'd never owned a car, so I was taking my bike down the shoulder. Except I wasn't riding it. I hadn't been sleeping well, and the night before I didn't manage to catch any sleep at all.
This guy literally looks so tired. You know, look at his eyes. He got bags. It's like he finna fall asleep standing up, just holding the bicycles, like he finna fall asleep. And then he's not even riding no more, so now he walking the bike on the freeway. This is disaster waiting to happen, probably. And I thought he was homeless. This is supposed to be a homeless. He might still be homeless. But, you know, let's find out, though. Let's find out.
I was honestly too drowsy to pedal in a straight line, so I was literally just walking my bike down the shoulder of the road. There was a sidewalk next to me, but it was on the other side of a concrete barrier, like the ones they use to divide directions of traffic on freeways. I could have hopped it on foot, but not with my bike. I don't know exactly how I'd ended up sandwiched there between the cars and the concrete, but after what happened later, I'd take that way again over the alternative. The sun was getting high and bright. It was starting to hurt my eyes. I squinted ahead and saw that there was a bridge down the way, a nice wide overpass to provide some shade. I started to quicken my pace, which felt pretty silly given that there were countless cars flying past me. But between the deafening whoosh of each vehicle passing, I kept thinking I was hearing something. Something that sounded like the shouts of a heated argument between drunk people.
That's the problem with you. It's going out of this town.
That might not be something you'd expect to hear in the middle of the day in your town, but in Miami, it's more than common. But I couldn't help but think it sounded a little unusual. I figured that sleep deprivation was screwing with me.
Oh yeah, he's definitely tired, man.
But as I got closer to the bridge, the shouting grew louder.
This might get murdered.
More like screaming. But there was some other tone in there, like a growling rabid dog. Every time I thought I was about to decipher it, a car would blow past me. Then, the sound would change. By the time I got to the bridge, my curiosity was piqued. I could definitely tell where the noise was coming from. Straight ahead of me, just a few more yards under the shade. I peeked over the edge of the barrier onto the sidewalk and saw two hairy pairs of men's legs sliding around together on the sidewalk. I instinctively darted my eyes away, not wanting to see much more above the thigh level. It's experimenting people need to get a room. What are they thinking? Doing stuff like that on the side of the road in the beaming sun. Well, obviously no one cares because no one's stopping. Just another day in Florida.
Oh, they can't see him under the bridge.
I did my best to keep my eyes to myself as I passed under the shade. I was thankful for the break from the intense light, but beneath the underside of the road above, some strange sounds began to echo, forcing me in for another look. This wasn't an act of exhibition, but there were two messed up looking dudes lying naked in the concrete, and one of them was crouched over the other, tearing into a man's face with his teeth. There was blood gushing out.
Yo, that is crazy, man. Like, picture that. This is actually a true horror story. It gotta be a true horror story. And this guy witnessed this in real life. Like, God, come on, man. This is horrifying, man. Horrifying.
Spilling onto the asphalt, bone showing through the bite wounds on the face, and flesh in the attacker's teeth as he looked up to notice
some
me,
Attack on Titan
just
stuff.
to scream
How he
like
looking.
a feral
Not like
zombie
that.
as he looked me dead in the eye.
Oh, man, crazy.
It was at that exact moment that I jumped onto my bike and pedaled off at top speed. All
Yeah.
prior drowsiness was erased by the shot of adrenaline. I kept looking back to see if I was being ran down by that psycho, but luckily he'd been content with scaring me off. I rolled down the first ramp that I got to and immediately went looking for a cop. I found one not even a block away, surrounded by several other very concerned-looking citizens. The
What they
police
concerned about?
officer, however, seemed annoyed, but I was in a panic, and I never panic, so I must have been a sight to see all on my own. I barged through all those people and got right up into the cop's face. There's a flippin' zombie on the frickin' pedestrian
Zombie?
path. Up the ramp, just up that way. Come on.
This man approached the cop wrong already. It's a freaking zombie. You already sound like it's not true. You already... He gotta be shot. He gotta be shot, man.
Don't get hysterical with me, people. What do you mean by zombie? There's a dude eating another dude's face off, man! Finally, it seemed like something clicked in the cop's brain. He didn't say anything to us. He walked straight into his car, speaking something into his radio. Then he drove up the off-ramp going the wrong way, out of sight. Me and those other civilians traded a few strange looks, all in an understandable loss for words. Some of them looked like avid bicyclists. Others just looked like people who'd come out of their
They probably all
cars.
came down the
I
damn
wondered
bridge, too.
how long that thing had been going on with all those people just driving past like that. Then we heard the gunshots. 5 of them in quick succession. Everybody on the street stopped what they were doing, dumbfounded. In just a few minutes, more and more cops came, followed by an ambulance, and then the army of press. News van after news van drove up to broadcast the scoop, live on the scene, or whatever. I heard some office building captured the whole thing on their security cameras. It was the talk of the town for weeks. I'm sure the name Miami was heard all across the world alongside Zombie Attack, Cannibal Eats Face off Homeless Man, Florida Man Gets Wasted and Eats Face. I don't care for any of that. People who weren't there seem fascinated by it.
No.
But I know more than anything that I never want to see pictures of that horrible tragedy. Just from seeing it one time, I was shaken up for months. I still get
I don't
hair
blame you.
standing up on the back of my neck
Yes, sir.
whenever I pass under a bridge.
What you talking about? Look at that.
A person who was riding his bike here off the MacArthur Causeway yesterday afternoon says he saw one man eating another man alive.
You're about to hear from the Miami man who had his face chewed off.
My face was all dashed up. My eyes got plucked out.
And ignored the officer's orders to stop eating the other man's face.
That's intense right there, boy. Woo! That's a lot to take in. Another true story. True story. This is fascinating. I gotta do this more often. But that's it, you guys. So if you like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up so I can continue to do scary horror stories, animation reactions, all right? Until next time, yo man Los, I'm